This is the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
The big Pab's in the house. I've just put something on him straight away.
And I said, yeah, okay.
Hang on, wait. What just happened?
So,
Sean,
wait there.
say what you said to him.
Because I've left the Port to Pub Dockers team.
Because you want to go
that goes
solo.
against the West Coast.
You've gone solo like Robbie Williams, yeah?
Yeah, time to go solo. There's a hole in the team. There's a hole.
So hang on, why can't, because you participated in the other one, you can't do this one? Or you've
No,
done
I'm doing this one. I'm doing it solo
But he's doing
again.
it
'cause I didn't
solo,
make it,
but
as
not
you
in
know.
the team. So
Got
there's a
it, got it.
vacancy in the
So
team.
what
The
did you
vacancy in the
say?
team.
And then literally
just-
he said, next week, what are you doing? Can you swim? I was like, oh, yeah, okay.
Now, that's the part
So
I want to
you
talk
said
about.
yes.
Sorry, I just want to talk about that. I want to talk about that.
Can I just
It
jump
was
in? I
non-committal.
do remember. I don't know.
It wasn't
was
binding.
A little while ago when we had a conversation, you said that's something I'd like to do one day.
Yeah, no, I've always, I mean,
Well, that one day's next week. Congratulations. Dreams come true.
Really? You
In a
only,
team.
you
No,
only
in a-
need a week.
oh, no, of course not. I need more. But like in a team of six, I think
six.
it's always at 5-minute rotations across
Yeah,
6
it'll
hours.
get less. What you want to do is get Spurry to do most of
Yeah.
it.
What
and
do you
then-
say? What do you say? It's only 5-minute rotations in the water.
2 or 3 minute rotations for how
Yeah.
long? 5 or 6 hours?
yeah, more
So you're
6
3
hours.
minutes
Swimming every-
in, and then you get a break. You wait for 3 other people
So
to
you're
swim, and then
swimming
you
every
get another
20
one.
minutes.
Five
Yeah,
other
more.
people.
5 other people.
You're
No.
swimming every 20 minutes. That's
3
all
minutes
there-
goes
that's
for
the
a
max,
long
isn't it?
time.
6 threes or 18?
When you're in there doing 3 minutes, you think it's a bloody eternity. Like,
Well, I mean,
honestly.
yeah, it's basically like an ad break on television. I can only ever compare things to what.
Put it into your well,
And by the way, you just mentioned Ivo's name, Gary.
Yeah, is he
Kivertson.
doing it?
He won't do it
Why?
because of the Sharks.
Oh, well, Garrick is smart.
Yeah.
Because they're there.
I'm
That's
calling
his
you
right.
out,
Let's
Ivo.
not
I'm calling you
ignore
out. You made it last time, mate.
Nah.
Ebo is he and Spur. You know when so we used to do rehab swimming or your recovery or whatever, and there was always 2 guys about 3 or 4 laps out in front of the others. They are just
Those-
you know,
so
they're
it's
sort of
those two.
horizontal in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
It doesn't look like-
beautiful,
Really,
smooth
it's like
moving.
marine creatures.
It looks
Yeah.
like they're swimming
Mermaids.
downhill, doesn't it?
Yeah, correct.
It's
While-
amazing, yeah.
While my big ass is just
Yes.
dragging down the water.
You're going uphill.
Heavy bones.
Yeah, correct.
Heavy
There's a
bones.
creature popping up its head for air. Oh, it's got a twin.
Myself and Big Aaron, probably not the best designed bodies for swimming.
Oh, well, come on, Aaron. That's 3 strokes and he's there.
Yeah,
That's true.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So anyway,
So you're
I'm
in.
swimming a rotto.
Oh, God, I'll get everyone to hit you up today. You're on.
Yeah.
And well, hang on, what date is it?
16th of March.
Yeah, I'm busy.
Hey, Abby,
always check my diary.
It's always an outlaw, Harry.
Quickly get Lauren to pencil you in for something.
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
before we get stuck into all of your AFL news, which I'm sure you two always are chomping at the bit to talk about, Sam Kerr, you would have heard the news that the racist thing that she had said to this police officer is a stupid white bastard. What do you think?
Well, it's the first I heard of it walking in here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I must have been sleeping under a rock this morning and not tuning into the news. What do I think? I think that if that person is specifically harmed and hurt by that, then they have every right to go to
Yeah.
deeper and longer measures. But I think we're all getting a little bit PC in the world, is my broader view on this topic. But look, it is in the eye of the beholder, so you can't necessarily...
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it
But
is-
it's
it
hard
is
to
in what-
imagine
yeah.
Yeah,
a
it
police
is.
officer hasn't been called worse things than that or wouldn't hear that sort of thing on
Yeah.
a regular basis. I'm not saying it's right.
Correct.
But why is she being charged? If they're going to charge her for that and that's going to go to court, their courts are going to be jammed.
Yeah,
with,
100%.
Yeah.
And I think that's the point is
Is she
that
being treated equally?
targeted, perhaps, yeah. And look, we don't know any other
Yes.
context or any other
No.
situations,
Yeah.
but it would seem that maybe this person's gone, I know who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not
We're gonna
fair.
make an example of you.
Every
Yeah.
Australian, I felt, well, look, a majority of the Australians would have read that this morning or heard that this morning and gone, oh, is that it?
Yeah, correct.
Well, I'm also
Correct.
relieved that it wasn't anything
Yes.
else.
Yes.
Yeah,
I reckon.
such relief. I didn't
Yeah.
think that she had. I didn't think Sam had that hateful sort of stuff in her to say that.
Nah, she's got an Indian background,
So-
Roger, and that. They got a good sense of humour.
Yeah, you know. So I didn't.
And
think
they're
it
certainly not a
floated.
PC family, I'll give you the big tip.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Correct. But I mean, so in this situation, when it first broke, everyone had that reaction. And then
Yes.
it's like, well, hang on, no, maybe there is something deeper here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is nice to hear that it might be on the margins, this
Yes.
one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we all might be able to move past quickly. But hey, look, it is in the eye of the beholder, these things. So
Yeah.
we'll see what
Were
happens.
you upset when I called you the thighs with the eyes?
I did, yeah. So I'm going to report you to Subiaco Police.
I mean, that's
down to the cop
To be honest,
station.
I don't think you'd lose that because I think you'd lose that court case because you have what
Thighs and eyes.
You have eyes.
Well, so do you.
I know. Call me thighs of the eyes. Well, they're not really thighs, are they? Just bones covered with skin.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Ellie, you only received beautiful, flattering gifts, nothing insulting.
I have received an insulting gift. I just
Okay.
can't remember what it was.
Well, you know what? It wasn't insulting. I don't even know the story.
Was it
if
a
I say
comfortable
you
jumper?
look beautiful, you get angry at me. So I'm sure it was the most thoughtful, gorgeous gift.
Probably,
And you took it the wrong way.
How dare you?
That's what we're talking about, inspired by Jack from Maths, who was horrible, like truly horrible to two of the other contestants.
Oh my God, Tristan, body issues, walks into the pool area, calls him a whale, and then to apologise, bought him a gift card to a supplement store so he could get his whaleness under control, and a keyring that said, "You are enough."
You are
You're
enough.
kidding me.
That's the kicker.
And yeah, we weren't happy.
Angela's in Bull Creek. Hello.
Hi, guys.
Hi,
Hi,
Ange.
Ange. Okay.
Hi.
Who bought you an insulting gift and what was it?
So, my boyfriend of 6 years had invited me over to Sydney for a family wedding of his.
Yeah.
The morning of leaving, we had a bit of a tiff. He said, "You're not coming." So, I didn't get to go. I'd taken time off work, lived paycheck to paycheck.
Oh.
When he came back, he bought me a pair of earrings. I don't have my ears pierced.
He didn't. 6 years you'd been together, Ange.
And he didn't know.
He had no idea.
Yep, that's right.
Oh, he was saying to his family, she doesn't have any earrings.
I mean, that was true.
Yeah.
That was
So
true.
he did actually, he did know something about you. He just didn't
Yes.
realise you had nowhere to put
No.
the earrings.
He thought about
okay,
it
that's
in a way.
major fail.
Okay, that's
Thanks,
funny.
Ange. We move from Ange to another Ange. Angela in Carambine. Hello.
Hi, how are you
Hey,
today?
Ange. Good, thanks.
Ange.
Okay. What was the gift and who gave it to you?
I used to live in Singapore. I was 110 kilos and I used to go running every morning, 5K.
Yeah.
And I was chased down the street by a beautiful Singaporean man in his songs,
Oh, nice.
waving a card in the air, and I stopped. And he gifted me with a gift card to his cousin's diet clinic because it would help me.
And he ran after you, actively ran after you.
I kid you not, I had my headphones in and all I could hear was slap, 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 slap behind me, and he's waving this card in the air for me.
What did you say?
Oh, thank you, kind stranger.
Well, excuse my accent, but Auntie, I have for you. And he says, this helps you, my cousin's diet clinic.
And what did you say back to that? Because in his mind, he's being nice. What did you say? Did
Yeah,
you say-
no, I took the card and I looked him in the eye and I said, do you think I don't know I'm fat? And
Also,
I
you're
carried
running
on.
5K in the tropics every day.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
good
you're
on
The
you,
reason
mate.
why I'm running is I saw a burger back there and I had to get away from it. Let's see what Vanessa got. Hi, Vanessa.
Hey, it was my father-in-law,
Yeah.
and he actually got his mother-in-law a lifetime membership to Jenny Craig.
Oh, no,
Lifetime.
unless they have specifically
Yeah.
asked for
No,
that.
and also Jenny.
Do not.
That's not a good gift because Jenny Craig collapsed.
Yes, that's right.
Well, we actually still give him heaps about it, but this is an elderly Italian woman who was well into her 70s at the time.
No.
In her years of him, and he still is adamant to stay because we still give him a fair bit about
Yeah.
that it was an appropriate gift.
Appropriate for what?
No.
Her the favour.
He
No.
did her the favour.
No.
Lifetime. When
I
you give
know,
someone
I know,
lifetime
it's
gift
like
at 70,
Yeah.
you're saving a few
Yeah,
quid.
no,
That is.
cheap.
I do think that's. I mean, you're at 70. Just
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just ride at home, really.
Yeah, that's right.
And I would have said to her, "You are enough."
With the key ring.
No, just the words.
Oh,
The words
okay.
are
Just
powerful
say
enough.
it. Just say it. Thanks, Vanessa. Claire is in Banksia Grove. Hi, Claire.
Hi, how you going?
Good, Claire.
Okay, Claire.
Loving
Who
these.
gave you the insulting gift and what was it?
So it was my ex-mother-in-law. She gave me a book on how to clean your house in 5 minutes.
That's pointed, isn't
That
it?
is right on the
That's
money.
pointed.
Claire needs this.
Yeah.
She's driving me crazy.
What did you
Get your
say?
joint in order, Claire.
Was she always dropping hints that she thought that you didn't have a tidy house?
Yes, she did quite often. So the gift wasn't unexpected.
Yes.
But bless her socks, she never worked. There was always a stay-at-home mum and,
Yep.
looked after the house. So she didn't realise that obviously I worked full time and it was quite hard to keep the house clean. But,
No, you only needed 5 minutes, though. The book
Yeah, I
said
know,
so.
Claire. Come on. Stop making
Do
excuses.
you know what? Imagine how many times she would have gone over to your house and then left
Yes.
and gone,
Oh,
can
she'd
she
be furious.
can she run a vacuum over the floor?
She would
Yeah,
have been furious.
I'm pretty sure every time she walked in, she'd be running a finger along the shelf going,
Any danger of dusting this?
So I want to know, it is an insulting gift. Did you read it? And can you do a little bit of a spruce in 5 minutes?
no, to be honest, I didn't open it, but it's sitting on the shelf so that she knows it's still there. I didn't have the heart to throw it out.
Yeah,
But
it's all dusty, though, which really annoys her.
that's a good point. I should probably check. Actually, I don't know if I still have it. I should check if I still have it
That's
somewhere.
too funny. Thanks, Claire.
Nathan, Nat, and Shaun podcast.
Good news with the voice of F1, David Croft, coming back to Perth, which is great. We caught up with him early this morning.
I'll give you an exclusive. I was on the golf course yesterday.
Yeah.
And we we got held up by a few people towards the second half of the round because there were 4 buggies but 6 people playing the same hole, which, as we know in golf, should
Illegal,
get a courtesy wave, middle finger.
Yes.
Two of the people involved, Sergio Perez and Lance Stroll.
Oh, okay. Did you give him? Yeah. Did you have a word to him, mate?
Well, shall we say we had a word as we overtook Sergio Perez on our golf cart because we abandoned the last 2 holes and went off and had a beer instead.
Oh, how good would that be? Wouldn't it be great if they just don't have a caddy with them? They've got a pit crew that runs in and grabs the cue out really quickly and polishes their balls and gets them back to the hole as quick as I can.
Slow play, though. Such slow play.
Hey, Crofty, how often do you get? Well, how often do you get to drive around any of the circuits flat to the boards in, any cars just to have a feel of what it's like?
Oh, see, how dangerous would that be? No, there wouldn't be any marshals for me. Could be people on the track. That would be thoroughly irresponsible. I may have done it once in my life. I might have had a go round Spa once upon a time in a car that Mercedes had me for the weekend to drive to Spa. But it's not something we get a chance to do very often, which is a real shame because I would love to go flat out in a racing car on a racetrack. What I need to do, you see, is to buy my own race car and then go and race it on the odd weekend that I'm at home, that I get a chance to do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you guys race?
To be right, we've had we've been out to over here is Wanneroo Raceway, so we've been out there and we flogged around an F3, I think it might have been.
Yeah, those miniature versions, and they gave you I think it was 15 minutes of what to do, and then they do put you in the car with an instructor, but then the instructor goes, all right, it's up to you now, and then they tell you things like, when you get to the corner, don't brake, speed up, and it's like, well, none of this is making sense. And then we realised while we were doing it probably 10 metres in, which took a millisecond to get there, we shouldn't be allowed to do that, Shaun. That was scary, wasn't it? I was actually, I don't know whether I was having fun or if I was just shitting myself the entire time.
I think, Nate, one of the things that we don't realise when you're driving is how much you have to actually jump on the anchors on the brakes. You brake as hard as possible, and then you accelerate as hard as possible. It's not normal.
But it's not just jumping on the brakes. You've got to jump with a force, but you've got to have the feel as well, and you've got to feed the brakes in. You've got to bring them in rather than just stamping on them straight away because everything will lock up and you'll lose all the momentum. So you've got to have a really good feel as well as having a boot the size of a kangaroo's chest, quite frankly, to actually get that pressure down.
So many things are attached to you and your voice. You're basically at a successful company within itself. I remember, was it Elle McPherson? She insured her legs. Do you insure your voice? Because your voice is in so much.
Yeah, I've insured my legs though.
And his boobs, which is amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Not as much as Elle McPherson's legs, to be fair. No, I haven't, and I should do.
You should.
But I'm not quite sure. Given how much I talk and how fast I talk and how loudly I talk, I'm not sure anyone would take me on. If there are any insurance groups in the Perth area that are willing to do that, I'm more than happy to have a chat while I'm over.
I'm sorry. How good would that be? If there's insurance places here that think that they can insure your voice, that would be the biggest coup for them because your voice is everywhere. When you do the computer video game stuff, what do they do? They just hand you just go in there, they hand you a list of random stuff you're saying. What's that like?
Okay, so I do the voiceover for the Codemasters game or the EA Sports game as it is now for F1 2024 and F1 Manager as well. There are two that I do. And I love working with both companies because they say, right, here's the idea. This is what we want you to say. But if you want to put it into your own words, please do. So I tend to kind of ad-lib a little bit as well. But there are stages, especially for the EA game, the F1 2024 game, where you have to repeat the same line with different names for lots of different people. So, for instance, there's like 6 different lines that will get used at different stages in the game. If I was Shaun, say,
Yes.
So I'd go in and I'd say, let's talk about Shaun. Shaun's been having a great battle with his teammates. Shaun's on pole position, and Shaun completes the front row. And bringing up the rear, it's Shaun. And you do those sort of lines. And I kid you not, I have spent days doing those lines. In fact, my record, so you try to do like a 4-hour session because your voice just goes after a while.
God.
My record is 2,500 different inserts of the game within a session.
Oh, my God.
No way.
Crofty.
God, we can't even get through a 30-second live read.
No, I
That's 30
can't.
seconds.
Nathan, Nat and Shaun in podcast form.
Nathan, Nat and Shaun, except the boys are gone, and the co-host with the most. We're just adjusting her throne as we speak. Queen Susanna Carr in the building. Susanna, welcome.
Nat, thank you.
This is a bit exciting for me, co-hosting with you.
Well, Nat and I just met in the corridor, and we decided that seeing as last time I came in with Rick, Nat wasn't here either.
Yeah, that's right.
Sorry, Nathan wasn't here either.
Yes.
We're the same person because we can't be in the same room at the same time.
That's true. No one has ever spotted you and Nathan Morris in the same room at the same time. And so do you like peel the face off to reveal you, or does he peel his face off to reveal you? How does it work?
It's a very weird combination, I have to tell you.
That's vaguely horrifying, to be honest. Now, you started in radio, right?
I did.
So
my first
very
job.
Familiar to you.
There was me sailing through life thinking I was going to be an architect, and for some God only knows what reason,
something went horribly wrong.
Yeah, I answered an advertisement in the paper for a radio announcer at the ABC, and I ended up becoming a radio announcer.
It was that easy to become a radio announcer?
No, it wasn't. There were
you were just that good.
There were 120 people,
Is that
and I didn't even get the job until a year later.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was
so they
huge.
They were one of those job interviews where they go, we can't give it to you, but we've put you're on file, and we'll call you if there's any openings. And they actually
sort
did.
Of like that. Yes, in fact, I was showing. I've got this bit of a scrapbook at work, and I was showing some of the younger ones.
How big is that? Must be massive.
I think I tailed off after a while. And, and there's just bits stuffed in there, but all the original letters are there where it said, "While your work holds promise, we won't be offering you a job yet." And could you've got good microphone quality and stuff like that, and then of course there were the wages, which were pretty horrendous.
Yeah, I can imagine.
In fact, Jordan Cutt said to me, "Is that what you got per week?" And I went, "No, that was for the year."
Stop it.
It was so bad. It was like $4,000 or something.
For the year?
Yeah. It was just terrible.
That is terrible.
But it was a long time ago.
Obviously. But $4,000 a year bought you 2 houses back then, right? No.
Well, it certainly bought you a car.
Yeah. That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, you've come a long way.
Well, it has been a long journey.
Yeah. So radio, and then you jumped into television on the ABC too, didn't you?
I did, yes. Yeah. It was interesting because, again, we were talking with the young girls yesterday, and I said I was reading radio news there.
Yes.
And then the ABC said, well, we don't know whether to put you on television news because we've never had a television newsreader, a woman before. What? And we're not sure that the audience would take it seriously.
Isn't that extraordinary?
They actually said that
to me. This is in your lifetime. And now we're not talking about the 1800s, ladies and gentlemen. Like we're talking
the television era.
We're talking, yeah, exactly. We're talking recent memory. And they said, we don't know if anybody would want to watch a woman read the news.
Yes, yeah, they did.
Extraordinary.
And the crazy thing was when I read, I think I was about 25. We got such a good reaction.
Yes, that's right.
It was a really good reaction.
It turns out. So you were a trailblazer, really, in that sense.
I suppose, yes, because now it's mostly women who are in broadcasting. The men are the smaller number now.
Yeah, extraordinary.
Yeah.
You've turned it right around. You single-handedly.
I don't know about that, but time has changed.
And now, of course, you and Rick are the Guinness Book of World Record holders for the longest on-air team reading the news in the world.
We're in the world, and we set a new record every day.
Of course you do.
We do. And next January, it's, dare I say it, 40 years.
It's extraordinary.
Isn't that a crime?
I mean, there's going to be
quite
street
get my head
parades
around
and
it
stuff
myself.
around this, obviously. That's amazing. What an incredible career.
I've been very lucky.
Yeah.
It's been a great time. It's also been a great time to actually get into television in those days and then ride it up through all the changes and the things that have happened and the technology changes and the way we do things. I mean, auto cue machines didn't exist when I first started.
So when you started, you were reading off a piece of paper and you would have to try and remember it?
You would. You'd remember as much as you possibly could because obviously you didn't want to read like the Russian readers used to read just looking at the paper and they wouldn't look up, but we had to make as much eye contact as possible.
Yeah, and so now it's all auto cue, so that makes life a lot easier.
A lot easier.
Praise.
Got a great memory.
Yeah. That's amazing. Do you reckon you could still do it like a paragraph of news?
Yes, but I'd probably panic.
So you're delivering it, but there's vague panic in your eyes the whole time.
Nathan, Nat and Shaun in podcast form.
I'm joined in the studio by, like, when I say powerful women, check these two out. Susanna Carr, Channel 7 doyen, and Maggie Dent, who is just the queen of common sense and basically can wrangle any child. Any child, Maggie? Any child?
Possibly.
Okay, we're going to check in with Terry from Ocean Reef. Hi, Terry.
Hi, how are you?
Great, Terry. Okay, you've got a question, a child-rearing question for Maggie Dent.
Yep. Yes, I have a 7-year-old son who is very, very, very easily aggravated, easily triggered, frustrated at the smallest things. For instance, this morning we have free dress at school. We were super excited about it, but this morning we went into an hour meltdown of screaming, kicking, throwing things, punching us over what to wear, and there was no settling him. There was no. I mean, we went through his wardrobe. We did everything we could, but there was no calm.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you that there's kind of some, like things that your child's landed up with on this planet, and one of them is temperament. And there's temperament tendencies. I've talked a lot about roosters and lambs, and I'd say yours is a bit more of a lamb, a little bit more sensitive. But there's another one, and it's whether you're an orchid or a dandelion. So you have an orchid son. So orchids are, oh my gosh, the feelers are really big, really, really big. And that means that their ability to self-regulate themselves hasn't developed. And not that that's a fault. Remember, it's not always a fault. It's just that they're going to take longer to do it. My number one tip to you is making the statement to help him understand why he's just flipped his lid. So when he started to get really upset because he didn't like what he's wearing, you go, you don't like what you're wearing today. And then pause. Shall we find something else? Right? Because he doesn't even know why he flips his lid. So you've just got upset because I've given you the green cup, not the blue cup. It starts really early. Oh, you didn't like that. So you need to give him some information about why he gets upset, because he's going to have that, inability to manage it. And then we're going to give him some things, simple tools like you're going to start taking 3 deep breaths more often. And then when he has, like we call, when the glitter's settled, we'll have a chat probably for 24 hours later because they're not really sharp for a while. And then you're going to say, isn't it awful when you get really upset like that? Well, let's just see if we can do some fun breathing, or should we do, and give him a tool, and you practice it in the bath. Well, if he's 7, maybe still, but
so you
earlier.
Practice it when he's not upset?
Yes, you practice when he's not upset. And also, I have an audio on my website called Calming the Angry Ant, and it's really a breath one that a lot of boys have significantly shifted the excess tension in their nervous system, because he's got a lot in there that obviously hasn't come out. So that would be a great one to do with him. And also everyone in the family, seriously, we've all got aggro inside us. And so if we can breathe that out, and the nervous system has more space before it trips. So keep the statement, help him understand it. And then when if he can catch it in time, if not, just let the big feels come out and then go, what can we do to fix this, mate?
Terry, what's he actually going to wear to school today?
Oh, well, we got one now.
Okay, good.
We've got Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tough though, isn't it?
Sometimes boys, I'm really frightened I'm going to
Yes.
fail. So they've been conditioned to think they've always got to pass, which, I could go for 5 hours on that problem in
I bet you
WA.
could, yes.
That they don't want to fail, don't want to get it wrong. So every now and then I want you to help him fail a lot.
Yeah, so it's almost easier to have to wear a uniform to school
so
because
maybe
there's no
a stress
decision.
in free
Exactly.
dress.
What if people, exactly.
Yes, you think that free dress is a freedom, and in actuality,
stress
there's more
out
pressure.
orchids.
Yeah.
Yep.
So orchids, because their environment has to be perfect for them to flourish,
they're just much more unpredictable, and their environment really does make a difference. And that's why sometimes, if they're in a classroom with a really warm and caring educator who lets them move when they need, they can thrive.
Yep.
If they're in a more rigid environment, that just flips them out so much, and they often save that and take it home and give it to mum.
Yeah, right.
In the car.
And dandelions can
dandelions pretty
flourish
crazy.
anywhere.
They just flourish anywhere.
Yeah, like
Everyone
weed,
should wish we had. I want the dandelion.
Special guest in the studio for International Women's Day, Susanna Carr, the voice of Perth, and Maggie Dent, of course.
I've been a bit quiet because Maggie's here.
I'm sorry.
So good though.
Am I holding the mic?
No, Maggie's just great. She just talks a lot.
Well,
and it's so interesting.
You both have a great love for telethon, obviously.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, Mags, talk to us about telethon.
Yeah, no, so coming up, there's going to be free wills from the 18th of March to whatever a week after that is. I got it, Mass. For anyone over 55. And I think I worked in death and dying in Albany, and I was a funeral celebrant and did 200 funerals. And every now and then we just
Is
think...
there anything you haven't done?
I know, isn't she extraordinary?
I know, it's ridiculous. It's crazy. I can deliver
There are a
lambs.
lot of books in you, aren't there?
Yes. And people just thought they had a lot of time. No need to do the will now, but for your loved ones, it's really important.
Yes.
So I'm just urging everyone to get free wills done. And then when you're doing it, can you think of our beloved telethon? Because the work that they do, as you all know, is amazing. If you could just make a bequest. I've done it. I mean, the first time I wrote a book, I donated $2 of each of my very first books in 2003 to telethon. I remember taking a little check-in to Fiona Stanley and handing it over. And so it's been something really, and I've got a bequest in my will. So I just want everyone to think if you've got anything you can put into that free will, get your will done.
So how do you get on board with the free wills?
You can just Google it and free wills, and I think it's right across Australia, and
brilliant.
you can actually get them done. And it's better to have one done than.
Then your family arguing about things when you're gone.
Well, they're going to argue probably anyway about that crystal bowl and who's getting that painting. But I'm going to put tags behind mine.
Yes. Have you?
And
You've
then
been
they can
marked.
fight.
Do you think you've got stuff that they would fight over?
No. I've got sons.
Yeah,
They don't fight
it's
over
a difference, isn't it?
But maybe my daughter-in-laws and my sisters. Yeah, no, who knows? But
That is such a great idea, though, because it's such an amazing foundation. And we've had some incredible, people like Fiona Stanley and Jonathan Karapetis running the Telethon Institute. And I was talking to Jonathan about it one day, and he said, the great thing is we've got such a good reputation. Because I said, how do you get the people to come and work for you? He said, people actually approach us to work for us now because we have such a good reputation internationally. And so they're getting such great work done that is shared throughout the whole world. I mean, it's not
exactly.
just like
everybody benefits,
it's
don't
wonderful.
they?
And each of my books, when I'm researching, I lean back into them, and I needed to for my next book that's coming up. And I, went in and had a really big chat to the team about what is the latest. Give me what's going to help.
Yes.
Because that's what they do, and they're continually upskilling and improving and helping our kids grow healthy and happy, which I'm right behind.
So your next book, this is your 10th book?
10th and final. Yeah, 10th and final.
Don't
I'm not
say
doing any.
that. That's a lot.
No, this one's for parents. The rest of them I'm going to do
but
fiction
didn't you
and make
say
it up.
you're going to write some fiction?
Yeah, I'm going to write some fiction with a lot of stories in it that
using your life experience.
Yeah, my last one's about help me help my teen. I've gone right back to the classroom and right back to my counselling because we can't get enough help for today's teens. There's not enough psychs. There's not enough counsellors.
Yeah,
I want to empower parents
and more problems.
Yeah, and more problems than ever.
Yes, and things that we didn't have to deal with when we were their age, and so we don't have any understanding.
You had such an unencumbered child.
Yes,
we really did.
And I just missed that window with my lads. Yeah, no, really glad. But now they're in the thick of it, so we're all back in it again.
Our biggest concern was that when a friend called us, that our mum answered the phone. And
or when you went to the wardrobe, you chose between the two things you had
that your mum made for you, in my case. Maggie, it's always a joy having you in.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you so much.
Thank
You are
I
an
celebrate you.
absolute queen.
I
We
celebrate
celebrate
all
you
women.
today and forever.
Nathan, Nat, and Sean podcast.
Who runs the world? Say it. Girls. Nathan, Nat and Sean. No, Nathan and Sean. It's all about the girls today. It is International Women's Day. We've got Susanna Carr. We have Emma O'Driscoll from the Fremantle Football Club. And now we have the Queen herself, Ricky Lee.
Hello.
There she is. Brand new album, Ricky Lee. Well done.
Thank you so much. And I did love the explanation there about the Kiss, about Kiss and the publishing, and I was made for loving you. I was like, oh my gosh, I could have just not rocked up.
Susanna Carr knows her stuff. I tell you what, she's a Ricky Lee fangirl from way back.
It was such a bad impersonation, Ricky.
Oh, it was brilliant.
I'm just
loved
filling
it.
time.
So talk to us about that. So I Was Made for Loving You, obviously a classic song, and you just loved it that much, or what's the story behind it?
Well, we actually went into the studio that day and we started with writing a brand new, fresh song. I was actually having a really bad day and I just wanted to write a song that was the complete opposite of how I was feeling. I needed a song to like lift me up, and I thought, well, because I had an hour drive from home to the studio, and I was putting on hype music that was going to lift me up and make me happy, and I was like, this is the kind of song I want to write today. I want to write the song that you go to when you need a pick me up, when you need, an anthem, a euphoric, feel-good anthem that's going to just lift me up for the day. So we went in and that was the vibe, and we started writing the verse, and then we wrote the pre-chorus. And then once we got to the chorus, over the chords, someone, and I wish I remembered who it was, but someone sang, I was made for loving you, baby, you were made for loving me, over the chords.
Yeah.
And we all kind of had that weird moment where you gasp because you're like, oh my God, you can't do that. You just can't do that because they're going to take all of the publishing or we're going to get sued, or it's a whole thing. And generally, if that ever happens in a session, you just go in the complete opposite direction and run for the hills and go just as far away from that melody as possible. But it just worked so well, and there was something that just said to me, this is what the chorus is supposed to be. It just so happens to be one of the most iconic classic songs of all time, and we had to go and get clearance for it. And that was always it was always the thing. If we're going to do this, we have to go and get clearance, and if we don't, unfortunately, this song's going to have to go in the bin because nothing's going to beat that chorus in this song.
Yeah, right.
So we did. We got clearance. Kiss themselves gave us the clearance and gave us the green light to use it. But as you mentioned before, it was they are taking 100% of the songwriting publishing, which is absolutely fine by me, because
even though you wrote all the other bits of it.
I know it is. Even though it is only 2 lines of their song, it is one of the most iconic, memorable songs in the history of the world. So I totally get it, and I just think it made the song. And even just judging by the reaction from people and what I've been hearing over the last week from people reacting to that song, is just, it's so special, and it really was worth it.
And now maybe Gene Simmons won't have to do betting ads, because you've got some retirement funds for him. You know what I mean?
Or isn't that song on all of the Maccas or Hungry Jacks? It's on every second ad. Those guys are cashing in. I respect the hustle.
Big time. So that's just one song on the album, obviously.
Yes.
Pretty exciting. This is your 5th album, but it's been a while between drinks, hasn't it?
It has. It's funny because it's been 10 years since I've released my last album. The last one came out in 2014, but I have not stopped working on music since then. And there's just been hurdles along the way and roadblocks and just things that have been in the way of me actually releasing an album, whether it's me disagreeing with a record label or just not being able to decide on a path or a vibe. And that kind of in 2019, that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back, whatever that bloody saying is.
Yeah, no, that's
for
it.
me. Is that that's it? I got it right. Okay, good. It felt like I'd been fighting with my record label for so long about who I'm supposed to be and what I'm supposed to be saying as an artist and what songs I'm supposed to be releasing, that it was just like, we're not on the same page here. Let's just not do this anymore. And And that was a terrifying but also a wonderful thing to happen, because then it meant that I was now the captain and I got to be in charge and I got to drive the car rather than be a passenger in somebody else's vision of who I'm supposed to be. And that's led me to today, where I've woken up and my album that I've spent the last 2 years working my ass off on is number one on the iTunes chart. And reading and seeing the feedback is just from fans and people that are listening to that album is so validating and so rewarding because of how hard I've had to work over the last 10 years to make this happen and get this album out.
Nathan, Nat and Shaun is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au. Nova.